Hey everybody, Mac and Damon here for OCR Kings, and it's that time again. Our friend Thomas checked in, this time from the Charlotte, North Carolina Sprint and Super this
That's right.
past weekend. He's given us a great sit rep, which we will
That's
provide
right.
links
As
to, the
as
unabridged
usual.
version. Yep.
Yeah.
And as usual, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It helps to grow the channel and keep these conversations going. And
That's right.
definitely check out Tom Shakopotamus over there on Instagram. We'll provide links to all of these things below. But without further ado, we've got some really neat stuff to talk about, not the least of which this race has been going here at this location for 10 years,
Yes,
since
2014. So
wow,
this
so
so
this is a
this is
staple.
yeah,
This
that's
is,
right.
yeah,
So this is at Porter Farms in Concord, uh, not too far from Charlotte.
Charlotte, North
But
Carolina.
it is absolutely a pretty big active cattle farm.
Yes, and that's we'll get into the details, but in short, this is how Tom kind of sums it up. He can understand why some racers may not want to travel to this event, due to dicey weather. It's a mud fest and it's a farm. So experienced racers will know immediately what that means.
That's right.
If you don't, stay tuned. We'll fill you in. But if you're chasing multiple trifectas and have a season pass, this venue gets you 3 races on a course with no elevation
That's right.
and easy logistics. So if you're looking to set a personal record, this is a fast course. If you keep your head on a swivel and look out for cattle hooves, cow pies, and electrical fences. More on that in a second. It's surprising to him, at least, that this race draws a lot of competition, and the age groups had impressive times for both the sprint and the super. So, pretty great spot.
Yeah.
You got the map up, is that right, Damer?
Yep, yep. The map is rolling right here just to take a look, and you did a nice little pre-map talk.
Yeah,
But yep,
most cow farms, are flat. It's easy, smooth sailing. But I guess Tom writes that there were some hazards in this one with hooves,
that's right.
hoof marks,
That's
ankle
right.
rolling
Yeah,
hazards.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Little bomb holes here and there and everywhere. And speaking of bombs, definitely this is an active farm, therefore there's
That
plenty
means
of
poo.
cow poo
Lots of
everywhere.
poo. All right. So anyhow, Tom writes that most racers that he talked to drove to this event. He's a little bit closer than some of these folks, but he mentions that there were people from pretty much all over the country,
Yeah, that's
which
right.
I found pretty impressive. Ohio, Atlanta, he's got Nashville, Kentucky, and Florida. They all drove.
Yep.
So interesting.
Yep. So he did mention if this was a flying destination for you, he does kind of give you two options where you can fly into Charlotte, Douglas. Um, Definitely a super busy American Airlines hub, or he actually said has seen some cheaper flights into Greensboro, which is about 90 minutes north and
It's
kind of
not
an
too,
easier airport to deal
yeah,
with. So if this was a fly
could
for
do that.
you, that's some good tips there. And he says that it seems like there is a bunch of lodging at all different cost levels, about 20 minutes from the venue.
And he mentions that parking is pretty straightforward, which is great. You and I, we're kind of parking snobs. We like, if you have to
Well,
pay a little bit extra to get
yeah,
primo parking, we are on that immediately.
that's right.
But he says, I guess the lot really fills up and is big, so you should Google pin, like on a Google map, where your location of your
That's right.
car is, or perhaps you might know better, Damer. If
It's,
this is just a Jacksonville thing, you could set your
oh,
car alarm off for some reason to try to
everybody,
find your car.
everybody. There must have been 15 car alarms going off at the same time as people are all walking. Where's my car?
Could
So
somebody please check
it's
in? Is
just
that,
like,
do you do that? Or is
it's,
that just a Jacksonville thing? Is that,
oh,
or are we missing out? First of all,
it
I'm
was
sorry.
funny.
I'm just going to say it, being a man. Don't you remember where you park? Do you know where your car is? You
That's
don't
right.
know? All right. But then to set off your car alarm to find your car, what if your car alarm is set off and it sounds exactly like every other car alarm? How are you going to tell
It's
which one is yours?
exactly what it was exactly what was happening. So it was stupid.
I don't get it. So, as an alternative to that, you might want to use Google Maps. That's a good tip. Thank you,
That,
Tom, for that one.
that's right. And he did say that since there was no rain at this particular event, parking, even though it was not paved, it was a field, no stuck cars, easy enough.
Not like
And
in San Jose, where they had
that's
the
yeah,
truck, the
that's right,
tow
where they
truck
were
pulling people out.
the Spartan tow truck was busy at work.
What is your profession? Tow, tow, tow. All right, so I guess the Spartan had listened to us finally, and they're doing more of these sprint and super combos. You can fit a sprint, you can fit a super too.
Yeah,
So
I
I
agree.
guess they
And
hadn't done so in years gone by, and they started to lose participation, so they stuck the super back. Good
that's
move.
right. So speaking of participation or just the whole venue, Tom actually mentions that this one was about the busiest he's seen this year so far, and mostly it was just spectators, which is very cool.
That's crazy.
So just the fact that he's like, for this race, Spartan got 7,000 racers and 3,000 fans and kid racers. And that's
That's a
a
lot.
that's
That's
that's a
great.
direct quote from Spartan staff that Tom talked to. So that's a great number. So
Uh,
that's super cool to see.
that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
And yeah, I totally agree with you. That's really good to hear. It's good for Spartan. It's good for
that's right.
OCR in general. So
That's right.
great.
Good for us.
So, and I'm sure the cows really enjoyed it, since this
Oh,
is a
yeah.
large working cattle farm, and it brings three issues into play every year. And this is a direct quote, everybody. Watch your sensibilities. Cow shit, mud, and people who, and I'm quoting here, fail the Darwin test by touching the electrical fence that says, do not touch. Awesome. Humanity, we're
Yeah.
doomed. We're doomed. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Now, if I go there, I'm going to be tempted to touch the damn fence myself. So,
That's
uh,
Yeah, I guess they got to put the cattle somewhere while they've got 7,000 plus people walking around. So it's in an electrified pen,
it's,
and yet somehow people still
they
touch the fence.
still
So
fuck it up. And
sweet.
Tom quotes you too. Porter Farms is much larger than the Double D Ranch,
That's
which you
right. Yep,
called
that was
Diamond D or
the
whoever he
Diamond D.
was.
Yeah, yep.
Double D Ranch. Sorry, couldn't resist.
Yep,
So therefore, there were more cows. So that just means lots of poo. And when it's muddy, that means the mud could be
yeah,
just mud,
that's right. Yep.
could be mud with something extra. So
Yep. Keep the mouth closed
yes,
on in the dunk and through the dunk wall.
to the junk wall. So let's see, what else does Tom write? He's be warned and keep an eye out for cow pies as well as electrical fencing. So that was a theme, I guess, throughout the entire weekend: electric
Yep.
shocks and duty. So, all right. Can't be too bad because 10,000 people there in total. This is a primo spot. And if you're
Yep.
looking to set a personal record, this
Yeah,
definitely, again, looking at the map, this definitely looks like a place to go.
that's
So
right.
awesome. All right. The fence, by the way, only delivers 2 to 3,000 volts. Remember, it's the amps that kill you, not the volts, but that's going to give you a pretty good shock. And if you have a pacemaker or heart trouble, stay away from the fence. That's what Tom's
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
So
That's
people
right.
on social media don't get too freaked out. All right.
That's right. So he does talk about just the weather being an issue at this time. So that does bring a particular challenge just to this venue. So it was in his particular Saturday morning, 38 degrees and gusty winds when the competitive wave started at 7 a.m. And slowly warmed up, but that's still a pretty chilly trying to figure out your
That's
time getting
yeah.
wet. So he says that definitely just brings in a level of challenge. So weather still has always has a factor.
And Tom doesn't write this. He's got too much class and is too nice. I will share the tip with some of these elite racers. Wear a shirt. Keep a shirt on.
Yeah,
Yeah, guys, have a shirt on. It will help you not freeze your ass off out there. So, how about the festival area? What do we got going on in there? It's the busiest he's seen all year.
yep,
Absolutely packed. Fantastic.
yep, that's right.
This is partially due to the number of spectators. There were several food trucks, and vendors made it pretty fun between the Super and the
Yeah, good.
Sprint.
Yep,
That's awesome.
that's
And he mentions a friend of ours who we, hope to connect with this April in New Jersey, Rocco. He's got a specialty tent there, and he sells weekend packages for saunas, ice baths,
That's right.
and massage
Massage
guns
guns.
to
That's
those
right.
who are not Spartan Plus members. Really, really cool.
That's
Rocco will
right.
be sending an email. We hope to connect this year.
That's right.
Sorry, we missed you last year. But also very interesting, be aware that multi-trifecta medals are still not available. That's
That's
not
right.
great. So if you've already done 3 of these to date or 4 or whatever, you're not getting your ever increasing,
That's right.
bigger and bigger medal. That kind of stinks. I hope
Yep.
they come in soon.
But the rumor is should be by New Jersey in late April. So
All right.
let's hope Spartan sticks to that.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
And back to the course. Both the super and the sprint have no significant elevation gain on the terrain. We saw that in the map. We talked about that. And it's not overly rooty, which sounds great, but it was very muddy in certain areas. Okay.
Yep.
Got to watch out for the mud and the poo and the bomb holes, I guess, from the
That's right.
cow hooves.
And you'll be okay.
And he mentioned, there were 10 or 20 bazillion holes and ruts. This is just an estimate, so says Tom. So it was a real test of ankle mobility.
That's right.
Tom is very good. In this review, he provides links to some ankle exercises, which I think, Damer,
Yeah.
you and I either
Like,
probably know by heart because
yes.
having gone to PT so many times,
Yeah.
but I think we're going to hop on those and take full advantage of those. So, he's never seen this course without it being muddy. Since there were 2 races on Saturday, he brought an extra pair of socks. Always a great idea.
Yeah. He brings up a
Okay.
good point here. I mean, he likes pushing that ultra distance. So you treat those two back to back kind of sprints, quick races as kind of a halfway.
Like a mini
Oh,
ultra.
yeah,
Yeah.
mini ultra. Like
Yeah.
just keep your mind
Like a
saying,
drop in.
okay,
Yeah.
I gotta change my socks.
Smart.
I gotta keep going. Got to be in the right mindset. Get back out there and go. So yeah, it was like if you're coming into that ultra halfway mark and bad thoughts are already creeping in your head, that's
You
usually
gotta,
about the
yeah,
time
people tap out.
you
Yeah.
grab your bin and leave. Yeah.
You got to get your mind right
Yeah.
on top of your gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the fact that he's keeping his mind in the right spot, even on these smaller venues and smaller races, good for you, Tom.
So as far as obstacle placement, it was really the standard compliment. He mentioned a few things, a long barbed wire crawl that was pretty low. The spear throw, I guess, was after the dunk wall, so it's
Yeah,
going to be
right.
pretty slippery on those spears. Probably a lot of wet hands. But a highlight, he mentioned about the A-frame on the Saturday sprint. The A-frame, he said, looked like a sci-fi movie. It was packed with muddy
Act.
racers clogging up the obstacle, and they had to get an official out there to start directing traffic. And being a
Act.
smartass after my own heart, he blurted out, "We're all gonna die." Okay.
Yeah,
But he could tell that the nervous laughter, he had seriously misread his audience. I would have thought that was hilarious.
that's right.
Luckily, I guess the thing didn't collapse. And the most, I guess terrifying part was they were handing out metrics bars and bananas at the end, both of which I would have skipped. And yeah, so the fire jump was pretty uneventful. I'm sure they had, pictures taken there. And I'm sure those folks who like metrics bars, that's not a horror to you. So much good may they do you. I think they're gross. Uh,
Your personal palate.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
just,
that's right.
no thanks. So, all right. So, it was cold early and, the super waves were not hesitating. They had no time to acclimate. He was glad that he had double compression on and he had fought the urge to take some of his layers off. He was going into the end with a half mile. It was still cold, so he wanted to keep the body warm. So I guess he stayed geared up. But there were gusty
Yeah,
winds and it made a lot of people pretty uncomfortable. Especially if I was wet and the wind was blowing on me, I wouldn't be too happy
that's
either.
right. Yep. Always like some good snivel gear. Keep me toasty
Snivel gear,
warm.
hell yeah. All right. So, All in all, it
Uh,
sounded like an awesome weekend.
yeah, I mean, way to crush it again,
Hell
Tom.
yeah,
As
Tom.
always, awesome. It was like great information.
Thank you for sharing. We really appreciate these. If we can't be there, having Tom there and telling us what was going on is almost like being there ourselves. So
Right,
we're living vicariously through Tom. Thank you,
that's right.
sir, for these. Definitely check out the unabridged version of this sit rep. Put a link to that in the description below. Check out Tom on Instagram. And again, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It helps to grow the channel and is greatly, greatly appreciated. We hope to see you out there on the course. But
Right.
remember, until that time, train hard.
Have fun.